Welcome to an evening with A-level music. We've got 6 pieces of work we'd like to share with you this evening, 4 from our Year 12 class and 2 from our Year 13 class. So our Year 12s have shared some iMovies that they've made regarding some aspects of theory that have been covered at the start of this year. And our Year 13s have shared a piece of solo performance and a piece of analysis work, which has been put together as part of an iMovie, all based on one of our set works by Berlioz. So we hope that this gives you a good flavour of some of the range of different activities that our A-level students get up to. We hope you enjoy.
One of our instrumental set works is Symphony Fantasiatique by French composer Hector Berlioz. It was composed in 1830, which is towards the beginning of the Romantic period, which explored expressive music more deeply than any of the other periods before it. For our set work, we study the first movement in the 5-movement symphony. The fact that it had 5 movements was unusual, as symphonies traditionally had 4 movements. This symphony was highly revolutionary, as it contained the largest orchestrated piece of its time, with 4 sections of strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. Another reason it was revolutionary was because it is a programmed symphony, meaning it tells a story through the music, the first paragraph of which can be seen here. Berlioz uses an idée fixe, which is a recurring melody which is present throughout the whole symphony, used as a structural device connecting all the movements. It is first heard here in the flutes. This melody represents the woman he has fallen in love with, and it is altered and changed and developed throughout the whole symphony. This is the same melody, played in the opposite manner, with a full orchestra and a hectic accompaniment. This expresses the man's distress as his fever dream worsens.
The texture is the number of parts in a piece of music and how they relate to one another. The different textures include monophony, homophony, heterophony, imitation, fugue, polyphony, and accompaniment. Monophony is where music is only heard one note at a time and is normally one single melodic line, and here's an example. Homophony is where a melody and accompaniment play together, and the accompaniment usually consists of chords, and here is an example. Heterophony is where 2 or more parts play the same melodic line simultaneously but with small variations, and here is an example of that. Imitation is where 2 or more parts share the same melodic line but can vary in pitch, and here is an example. Fugal texture is a contrapuntal piece for 2 or more instrumental parts which is commonly based on a subject and then imitated in a different pitch or key, and here is an example. Polyphony is where 2 or more parts play independent melody lines and is also a synonym for a counterpoint, and here's an example. And lastly we have the accompaniment, which is a musical background to a principal part or parts, and here's an example for that.
It's a god-awful small affair to to the girl with the mousy hair.
This short presentation is going to talk about how to work out key signatures and how to find their relative major and minor keys. Key signatures are simply a musical notation indicating which notes are sharp or flat in a piece of music. To remember the sharps, all we need to do is remember this short acronym. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. To find the key signature, you find the last sharp and move up one semitone. For example, if you have 4 sharps, you know that the 4th sharp is D, and up one semitone from D sharp is E. To remember the order of the flats, you use the same acronym that you use to find the sharps, but in reverse. So instead, it's battle ends and down goes Charles's father. To then find the key signature, you find the penultimate flat, or in other words, the second to last, and that is your key signature. The relative minor of a particular major key, or the relative major of a minor key, is the key which has the same key signature but a different tonic. To find the relative minor key, you move down 3 semitones. For example, A minor is 3 semitones below C. To find the major key, you do the reverse. Thanks for listening.
Cadences. A cadence is the chords that conclude a musical phrase. There are 4 main types of cadence, the first being the perfect cadence. In this, we go from chord 5 to 1, which is the dominant to the tonic of a key. This is present in pretty much all music and often ends a phrase, a main section, and usually the end of a piece. You can tell it's a perfect cadence by the fact that it sounds finished, as though you're not expecting anything else to come next. For example, in the key of D major, the perfect cadence would be A to D. The next most common cadence is the imperfect cadence. This is a flip on the perfect cadence, goes from chord 1 to 5, which is the tonic to the dominant. This again is present in most music and often ends phrases. However, it wouldn't usually end a piece of music altogether because it can leave the listener feeling slightly uncomfortable due to the fact that it sounds unfinished, like you're expecting the tonic to be played again. For example, in D major, this would be D to A. The next cadence is the plagal cadence. This goes from chord 4 to 1, which is the subdominant to the tonic. This is present in a lot of sacred music and is also nicknamed the Amen cadence due to its popularity in hymns and other sacred works. For example, in the key of D major, the plagal cadence would be from G to D. The final cadence is the interrupted cadence. This is from chord 5 to any other chord other than chord 1. It sounds unexpected and isn't very pleasant to listen to usually, especially if it's ending a phrase, which is very uncommon. An example would be A to B minor, or you could even have A to F sharp minor.
Time signatures contain 2 numbers. The top number indicates how many beats there are in a bar, and the bottom number is a symbol to indicate the type of beat. There are 2 types of time signatures, simple and compound time signatures. Simple time is the easiest to count because of the 1-2 pulses in a piece. It feels natural and easy to the listener and the performer. In compound time signatures, each beat is divided by 3 into equal groups of dotted notes, such as 6/8, which contains 2 dotted quarter note beats, or 9/4, which contains 3 dotted half note beats. 2/2 time is a simple time signature and has 2 half notes per measure. 2/4 time is also a simple time and has 2 quarter notes per measure. 3/2 has 3 half notes per measure, and 3/4 has 3 quarter notes per measure. 4/4 is the most common time signature and has 4 quarter notes per measure. 5/4 time is still simple and has 5 quarter notes per measure. 6/8 is compound and has 6/8 notes per measure. 7/8 is also compound and has 7/8 notes per measure. A way to find out if something is simple or compound, you look at if simple can be divided into 2 inner beats, and if it's compound, it can be divided into 3 inner beats. The time signatures give us a way to notate music so that we can play music from our scores, hear its organisational patterns and discuss it with common terminology known to other musicians. The organisational patterns of beats as indicated by the time signature is how we hear and feel the meter of the said piece. When discussing music, the terms time signature and meter are frequently used interchangeably, but time signature refers specifically to the number and types of notes in each measure of music, while meter refers to how those notes are grouped together in the music in a repeated pattern to create a cohesive sounding composition.
Hello, my name's Eloise Toon, I'm in Year 13, and I will be singing O Del Mio Dolce Ador by Gluck. O del mio dolce ador, brametto gito, brametto gito, l'era che tu respiri, al fin respiro, al fin respiro. Ovunque io guardo, io giro, le tue vaghe sembianze, amore me ti impinge, il mio pensiero si finge, le più liete speranze. E nel desio che così m'empie il petto, cerco te